Hello and welcome to Stateline. I'm Melinda James. It's 1 week out from polling day. In a moment, we'll take a look at how the electoral redistribution has turned once safe seats into stiff contests. But first, a look at an electorate that has political pundits guessing, the Darwin seat of Fannie Bay. Despite leaving politics, the former Chief Minister Clare Martin has been campaigning strongly to get her one-time Deputy Chief of Staff Michael Gunner elected. But the bookies have his high-profile Country Liberals opponent, former Darwin Lord Mayor Garry Lambert, as the narrow favourite. Earlier, Stateline brought the two candidates together. So joining me, we have Garry Lambert, the candidate for the Country Liberals for Fannie Bay, and Michael Gunner, who's running for the Labor seat, for Labor for the seat of Fannie Bay. Now, this is the first time either of you have run for the Legislative Assembly, but neither of you are strangers to political life. In fact, I think it's fair to say that each of you are probably fairly ambitious, which makes Fannie Bay an intensely interesting seat to watch. Garry Lambert, if I can start with you, this week you stated your leadership ambitions again. Is this wise during an election campaign when Terry Mills is trying to establish his credentials as leader? Doesn't it do damage to the party?
Melinda, I can give you an absolute undertaking that I'm not going to challenge Terry Mills for the leadership. I've said simply that I have some skills that could be used in leadership, but as far as I'm concerned, Terry Mills is doing an excellent job. He's been a great leader. He's certainly been taking it up to the government, and I think, in fact, he's been making headway against the government.
Is that a guarantee that you will never challenge Terry Mills?
That's a guarantee that I would never challenge Terry Mills.
Are you anticipating that someone else might?
Oh, look, I don't know, and I can't speak for other people. I've got no idea what's happening, but I'm quite happy. I pre-selected with Terry Mills as the leader, and I'm quite happy to follow Terry Mills, and I will be following Terry Mills into this election.
And there are no deals for an orderly handover?
There are absolutely no deals for an orderly handover.
OK. In the 1990s, you worked for the ALP government, but times have changed. Why have you hitched your political future to a party that couldn't find people to run in 2 electorates and is fielding 10 previous losers as candidates?
Well, look, what I'm doing is saying that I've got some skills and capacity and qualifications to represent the people of Fannie Bay. My only interest is in representing the people of Fannie Bay and then more broadly representing the people of the Territory. The party, I think, is a good party. It's a great party. It's a party that respects individual skills and abilities. It's a party that has a responsible approach to the use of funds. It's a party that promotes individual ability. My capacity is simply that I want to represent the people of the Fannie Bay and the people of the Territory.
Well, Michael Gunner, during the last term of government, you've been on the 5th floor working as a political advisor on some controversial and at times unpopular policies, things like speed limits, council mergers. Do you think the fact that Clare Martin has anointed you as her successor could in fact harm your chances?
Clare's a great local member, there's no doubt about that. One reason why I'm running is because Clare asked me to run and I really respect her. And Paul Henderson's leading a great government at the moment. Do you feel some voter backlash when you're out in the electorate? No. In fact, the opposite. People really love Clare out there, and that's why I've put my hand up. But while Clare's support's great and Paul's support's great, the support I need is to support the people of Fannie Bay, Prap and Stuart Park, and that's why I've been out there every day for 3 months now, knocking on doors and talking to people.
You've been involved in backroom politics for many years. Do you think voters might lean towards someone who has broader experience beyond politics? I'm
a 4th-generation Territorian. I live in Hudson Fish Avenue. I went to school in the electorate. I'm part of the local community. I love the place. That's why Clare asked me to run, because I'm a local who loves it. And I think that's really important experience. I've got some experience in government, in decision-making, and I think that's going to help me be a strong voice in a Paul Henderson government to deliver for people in Prap, Fannie Bay and Stuart Park.
Fannie Bay might look like a safe Labor seat, but that's based on Clare Martin's support at the last election. The bookies do have Garry Lambert narrowly as the favourite. Is this a different race to the one you thought you'd be running before the former Lord Mayor was pre-selected?
I think it's exactly the race I thought I was running. You put your hand up, you run your own race. I'm out there knocking on doors. It doesn't matter who the opposition candidate is. All you can do is your best. And I'm out there right now talking to the people about what their concerns are.
Garry Lambert, when you took on the job of Lord Mayor, had you already decided to run for Parliament?
Oh, absolutely not. No, not at all. In fact, it wasn't until I'd made the decision to step down and fulfil what I'd said I was going to do at the inception of my stint as Lord Mayor. The people came up to and spoke to me. At the election time, people came up to me and said, we need people like you in Parliament. We need people with integrity, we need people with experience, and we need people with capacity. And it was basically that sort of support that made me think about it.
Was there ever a thought in your mind that you could use the Lord Mayor's post to boost your profile?
Never at all. absolutely never at all. I mean, it's going to be a theory that's going to be out there. The media are certainly going to run it up, but absolutely not at all.
Both parties have invested a lot of money in Fannie Bay and in trying to win Fannie Bay. Letterboxes have been overflowing with election pamphlets. Is that because both parties, do you think, or does the CLP see Fannie Bay as being indicative of the mood of the electorate, particularly in Darwin more broadly?
Look, I don't think the mail-outs in Fannie Bay are any more or less than any other seat. I can certainly say that we haven't had an exceptionally large number of mail-outs in Fannie Bay. I do see that there's a lot of Labor Party material being put around in the post boxes. Look, every seat is an important seat to the Country Liberal Party. Every seat has to be won and every seat has to be fought over, and this is a tough fight here. As Michael had said, I'm coming from way behind. It's been a Labor seat and I'm out there working hard to win it.
Michael Gunner, what do you think about how the people of Fannie Bay will vote and what that will say about the mood of the electorate more broadly? Do you think Fannie Bay can be used as...
I think you can't take anything for granted. All I'm doing is getting out there and knocking on the doors. I've been doing that every day for 3 months, and I don't read anything more into it than that. I'm just knocking the doors and doing what it takes to work on the local issues that people raise.
Garry Lambert, as Mayor, you voiced some views that are at odds with CLP policy. For example, the Country Liberals don't support Council's plan to ban private fireworks on Mindle Beach. Will you maintain your independence or will you toe the party line?
Look, I'd be certainly out there representing my views and the views that I think are being expressed to me within the party. Now, if that's a different view, I'm in the party room and I'm going to be expressing those views. So I'm not necessarily going to be doing exactly what the party says. I'm out there as an independent person. I'm prepared to go out and do what I need to do.
Michael Gunner, the closure of Wirrina Flats is something that you've been campaigning on. Aren't you just pandering to the middle class vote here?
The units you're talking about opposite the Prep Shopping Village on Gregory Street are over 30 years old and past their use-by date. They need to come down. We're going to replace it with new units there, mainly private, some public and some affordable housing. On the 22nd of July, Terry Mills came out very clearly in a press release and said the CLP don't support that. They don't believe it's a credible policy. If you vote for a Henderson government, you're voting for a redevelopment of Prep Road.
I think Terry Mills also raised the fact that residents hadn't really been consulted or told about this change and were told that they would have to move, in some cases after many, many years of living there.
The most important thing that's going to be happening over the next year, because we're talking about next year, is Territory Housing tenancy managers will be working on a case-by-case basis, one-on-one of all the tenants there. I grew up in Territory Housing myself in Alice Springs and Tennant Creek. I know how important it is to have your own home, and we'll be working with all of them individually to find them places to live.
Now, Clare Martin has held the seat of Fannie Bay for many years, and Fannie Bay has a couple of hotspots for antisocial behaviour. Residents are still complaining about antisocial behaviour. Do you think that will work against you, the fact that Clare Martin was in for so long and the problem still exists?
We've done a lot and there's more to do. I'm a local, I understand the concerns people raise in that area. That's why I argued successfully for a PRAP police beat that will service Fannie Bay and Stewart Park, and they will be operating during the hotspot times based on police intelligence.
And Garry Lambert, just finally to you, what do you propose to do about antisocial behaviour in your electorate if you were elected?
Look, definitely law and order is one of the major issues, but I think one of the issues that we're taking into this election is the concept of credibility and integrity. My opponent's been going around from day one spreading lies. This government doesn't oppose IMPEX. This government never said it wouldn't cut down Wirrina Flats, and this government never said that they'd shut down Parap.
Can I ask you what you do about antisocial behaviour, though?
Well, antisocial behaviour is something. We've got a policy with 130 new police officers on the beat, not only police officers, but supported by public servants coming in to provide them with the time to get out on the beat, do general policing and be seen out there and change.
We'll have to leave it there, but good luck to you both, and thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.